So today's reading is going to be loaded with time codes. We're looking at time coding specifically from past cycles. And this is a message from Spirit regarding how the time from the past is lining up from the time or to the time from the present and then to the subsequent future. So there's like a time spiral that they're talking about here, and they want you to be aware of something that was prominent in your past or something that I'm actually getting a message that you're figuring something out now in regard to the particular time cycle that we're disclosing today, or something specific about what you're manifesting and creating in the future based on what came before. Okay, so that's what's channeling through from Spirit. That's the topic of the reading as well. I've got the 3 clocks that you guys saw on the cover image that you can choose from. But if you prefer to choose with cards, I also have 3 cards that fell out of the Divine Time Oracle deck. The first group is represented by January, second group is October, and third group is around March. Now, not all of the cards in the Divine Time Oracle are this specific to a particular month. So I'm paying very close attention to the fact that we have very specific months that are coming up here in regard to this past timing cycle and what you need to know about the coding that you're imprinting going into the future. If you feel called to more than one group, more than one clock, more than one card, that's totally fine. There may be multiple time cycles that you're working with, or they could even be interconnected in some way. So pay attention to the little cues, codes, and synchronicities, especially if they resonate. It doesn't always have to make sense. It just has to feel like it is connected to you in some way. All right. So timestamps are below. Chapter notes can also help you to skip ahead to your chosen reading or readings, and we'll see you there. All right, hi group number 1, welcome to your reading. You chose the first clock or the card January from the intro. And so specifically we're looking at past timing codes and how this is going to apply to where you're currently at in the present moment, and from that present point perspective, what you're creating or manifesting into the future. So time's not linear, it's more of a spiral, and we cycle back around. It's very interlaid and interconnected. So something around January is what Spirit is drawing your attention to here, group 1. Thinking back to January, if you have notes on January, if you have journal entries, if you have a calendar app that you can go back to, look at January, the themes of January. There could be a reading that you're prompted to watch that comes up on your feed. And I'm hearing the word sporadic for some reason. Okay, sporadic is like something that happens in an unpredictable way, or it's just kind of like, I'm hearing popping off. Okay, they're showing me popcorn now. I'm hearing unfolding of events. But what I was trying to say is you may come across a video, not even of mine, but maybe just a random video or something that prompts you from January. I'm also now seeing an Instagram feed and a reminder from something at the beginning of the year. I don't even have Instagram, but that's what Spirit is showing me. So something about online networks or online or social media of some kind, you could get a prompt from something around January that will remind you of what Spirit is calling your attention to at this time. Okay, I wasn't even meaning to do that, but we're getting right into your reading. Page of Wands and the Moon card. I heard psychoanalytic. Okay, analyzing something about, well, the moon can represent the subconscious mind, our fears. I'm hearing something about hidden agendas, and I'm hearing motivations. Okay, they're pointing me to the Page of Wands here, which is speaking in this case to you, group number 1, about your motivations, the unconscious or subconscious motivations that are driving your actions or behaviors. And they want you to look back at January because there's something about what you did in January, the behaviors or the psychoanalytical, they want you to psychoanalyze yourself, I guess, in that time period. Like, what was I thinking in January? What was I doing? What was I creating? What was I working on? Who was I connected to? It would be very helpful, obviously, if you have like journal entries you could look back on what you were thinking at the time or what you were feeling. But even just looking back in your photo album would be helpful. Okay, we have the Devil. Yeah, they're saying subconscious prompts. So there's something in the subconscious mind that has been running on autopilot is what I'm being shown. And it's like these cycles of time keep repeating, and that behavior kind of reemerges or resurges. And you're being called to look at it and understand some of those hidden motivations. Like maybe it's, why am I eating this particular food around this time? There's like okay, Spirit just said biannual rhythms or biorhythms annually. January is the beginning or the start of the year in the Gregorian calendar, not necessarily in the solar calendar, but there's like this feeling of a reset, and that reset is prompting you to do something. Now, at the time that I'm filming this, we're like mid-July. You could come across this video at any time because all my readings are timeless, and especially this one, even though it's referring to specific points in time, it's timeless and it's meant to find you when it finds you. I'm hearing calling into being. So again, there's something that you're manifesting that's very unconscious. I'm hearing the word latent. Yeah, they're saying subconscious programming. So Spirit wants you to be very aware of those motivations, internal drives, some subconscious prompts where you tend to just kind of go into autopilot in a particular season. What did you kick off in January? I just heard that, and they showed somebody kicking a soccer ball. What did you kick off in January? Kick off, pop off. Something was started. And it may have, they're bringing me back to the word sporadic, and it may show up sporadically, and that's why it's hard to track. You know, it's like, how do you, I feel this card on the bottom too. I'm going to take that out so I don't forget it. How do you break a pattern or a cycle that doesn't necessarily have a rhythm? How do you identify a pattern that doesn't necessarily have a level of predictability to it? It just seems sporadic or random. But what Spirit is showing me, and how they want you to look at this, group number 1, is identifying these like almost larger cycles so that you can start to see the pattern, or being able to track the unpredictability will give you a sense of predictability about it. I'm hearing, they said poster child. Poster child. I don't know what that's talking about. Something, they're showing me like a poster on a wall. Poster child. Okay. Oh, 6 of Cups. That's very childlike energy. Poster child. So is the Page of Wands. So maybe this is even something from childhood that has been ingrained into this subconscious aspect of the mind, and that's why it's latent, but it kind of like reemerges around January. It could have been something that happened in childhood connected to January, or like this reset energy. 555, as I said that. I haven't looked at the time so far until that point. So 555, that's a number of change. I'm hearing the word development, actually. Ooh, interesting. I've never associated 555 with development. Thank you, Spirit. Okay. Personal development, psychological development, psycho-spiritual development, but something about this motivation from deep within the self. And the Fool, also childlike energy. Okay. Poster child. It's like an example or representation. The poster child, it's like the face of something that represents a movement or represents, an idea, an ideology even. So that, okay. So Spirit wants you to look at your beliefs. Something about the inner child here, and they're saying inner child drives, and they're showing me like the 2 back wheels of a cart. Inner child drives, and something about the rotation of these wheels. Cycles of the moon, cycles of the sun, cycles of the year. The beginnings of each one is what Spirit is saying. Like, so that like the beginning of the day, the beginning of the year, the beginning of a lunar cycle is significant here. Those may be layers within this time cycle. I'm hearing paradox and periodical. Periodical is something about a journal, like a periodic journal. I don't know what that's talking about. Maybe there is something to do that with psychoanalysis that you're going to be researching or looking into, or you did at some point, and they're bringing you back to that information. It's being brought back into your awareness, I'm hearing. Okay. I did see a reference to Gabor Mate yesterday, and I hadn't read anything from him in a long time. So it did feel like a bit of a refresher. And after I just said that, they reminded me that happened yesterday. So, okay. So group number one, you may see something reemerging here from the past, something that you studied, something to do with psychology, something to do with the inner child. And it's going to help you to see the randomness as a type of order within these cycles. Now, again, the reference to beginning and beginning and beginning, and even the Fool, which is the first card of the major arcana, it's the first card of the tarot itself, actually. This is the beginning. So they want you to go all the way back to the beginning. Maybe this is even birth or pre-birth, it's not just January as a month. It's like the January of your soul. The beginning of your soul, the inception point. I heard inception point, King of Swords. And King of Swords would be, I'm hearing practicality, practical approach. They're saying something about behavior, modifying behavior, change in thought patterns, thought rhythms. They're showing me brain waves, brain frequencies, something about theta state. Oh, right. For the first 7 years of our life, in childhood, we tend more toward that theta state brainwave, which is more impressionable. And that's what programs us for the rest of our life to a large degree. So when you make the unconscious conscious, you will see and be aware and be able to change it. That's what I just heard from Spirit. That's like half a Carl Jung quote. Again, psychoanalysis. Carl Jung, Gabor Mate, something about psychology, analyzing the mind and the subconscious parts of the self so that you can understand something here and be able to, it's like you can reprogram yourself, you can reset yourself here. And then those motivations are aligned with what you really want. And that's how you're going to create what it is that you're intending, because the King of Swords here feels like intention, what you're actually intending to create going forward, rather than what's been kind of like pre-prescribed to you based on thoughts that were not even your own or beliefs that were not even your own. Okay. Now, the King of Swords also he's, well, I guess like in this case, the poster child, or he's like a representative for psychology, the mind. The King of Swords can be a teacher. It can be, I'm hearing something about a lecture. So yeah, something about school, maybe going back to school age years, the beginning of the year, January. What did that hold for you in the past as a child? I'm hearing by fate's design, but it's like, oh, and then the Spirit showed me you taking something into your own hands and being able to work with it or shape it. It's like you're taking, okay, now they're showing me a ball of yarn, a red ball of yarn. It's reminding me of the emoji. These are all cue codes, by the way, like clue codes, cue codes to prompt your subconscious mind into remembering what it needs to remember or unlocking these latent parts of the self. Yeah. Something about sinking or swimming. But I feel like this ball of yarn or this red thread of fate is calling you to make some adaptations or to change something of your own free will through the recognized state of awareness. I'm hearing recognized state of awareness. It's like consciousness alchemy. When you have consciousness of something, you can change it. If you have no conscious awareness of it, it's really difficult to change. And they keep showing me something about this pattern, like how the pattern is hard to identify. They're showing me somebody with a magnifying glass and a detective outfit, looks like Sherlock Holmes, looking and studying footprints on the ground, looking at something really up close, really analyzing it, right? Psychoanalysis, really analyzing it, playing detective, understanding the steps that took you to where you are now, or this unsolved mystery of the self as to these motivations, these behaviors, and these subsequent events that manifest out of that. But again, it's like it's been hard to predict, or it's been hard to understand, because it's like there was no quote unquote rhyme or reason, but there actually is. If you look a little deeper or a little harder, or maybe you need an outside perspective on this because it's difficult for you to put it together yourself. Somebody with an analytic mind could be helpful, or if this is you, it's this adult version of you being able to do this for your child self, or for this younger version of self. Okay, we have justice in reverse. Something was not fair. Something was not fair. King of Wands. Okay, interesting that you've got the Page of Wands and the King of Wands reversed. It feels like there's maybe a repressed... Ooh, thank you, Spirit. I just heard a repressed need for authority. I was going to say like okay, I didn't mean to say oppressed, but maybe that's part of it. I was going to say like a suppressed adult version of yourself, or feeling like growing up wasn't fair, or having to constantly do something in a certain way wasn't fair, or expectations. I don't know how this is going to apply to you. It's going to probably be different for everyone, but the theme here is something about an oppressed internal power. Yeah, that was not fair. Of course, that's not fair. Queen of Pentacles. I heard Earth Force when I pulled that card, which actually is a card from another deck. What is that? It's one of the angel decks that I have. I can't remember which one. Maybe it's Angels of Atlantis. Six of Wands. It's like if this feeling of I can't win, no matter how many times I reset, I don't get white, something about wider or white. I don't get what I need. They're showing me somebody with a blank white t-shirt. Beginnings versus endings. Blank white and reset energy. This feels kind of like mind wipe. Like there was something in the past that you were made to forget, or maybe that your mind repressed or suppressed in such a way that it created this almost like amnesic state, or maybe literally an amnesic state where it's the forgotten. I'm hearing the forgotten. Something about, okay, they just said the forgotten self. Ooh, the forgotten self. I'm hearing maturity within, practical power. I just saw a flash of the movie Practical Magic. The wand, right, using your magic. Forgetting how to work your own magic. And they're showing me that sporadic energy again. It's like if you don't remember, if that was repressed or suppressed or oppressed in you, all these pressing on you somehow, group one, if that was limited in some way, restricted, then it makes sense why all of these other cycles and what you're unconsciously manifesting would be sporadic and hard to predict and hard to control, because there's this internal power system that's kind of, they're showing me a fire hydrant and a fire hose. It's like the fire hydrant and the fire hose aren't connected properly. So the flow of energy that moves through there is unpredictable. You can't necessarily control it. Maybe it's coming out in bursts or spurts, or it's spraying wildly. There's something about this need for self-awareness that leads to this control of your own power, this retrieval of these forgotten parts of the self, or this forgotten or repressed aspect or aspects of you that lead, the High Priestess. And they really want you to dive into this group number one again. Yeah, one first. The first month. There's the first year of your life. There's something about these cycles or patterns that, yes, they may seem completely bizarre and unpredictable, but there is a pattern to it. And the High Priestess is going to show you how to find that. And you're going to unlock this within yourself. It's the ability to see beyond what is seen, to see into the unseen realms, into the subconscious, into the shadow, into the past, into the inner child, And to unlock this information is going to give you, I'm hearing great benefit. It's going to be of great benefit, but it's going to give you the consciousness transmutation you need to be able to reclaim this power and turn all of these cards upright. So if we're looking at Justice, King of Wands, Queen of Pentacles, Six of Wands, these are all like successful, empowered energies. And all of this was inverted. It was turned on its head, it was repressed, oppressed, or sequestered in some way that made it not likely that you were able to control it. And I feel like that was intentional in some way, but I'm not sure how. Ooh, death. This definitely feels like reset energy. And this might feel even a bit like an ego death, or it may involve a type of ego transformation, because that's what death is. It's not an ending, it's a transformation. It's part of this cycle. I'm hearing it's going to open you up to the unknown and parts of yourself that you've been unable or unwilling to see. King of Pentacles. And I feel like I want to put that on top, like, okay, yeah, look at that. I don't know, I never have done that before, putting this on top and then also looking at the Knight of Pentacles reversed, King of Pentacles upright. This is like a reclaiming of your power to create, to manifest in the third dimensional reality. Because there's something in the subconscious mind that's been blocking that. It's been acting as a restrictor or an inhibitor or a suppressor in some way. And it's made it really difficult for you to see tangible results or to be consistent with them or to predict what's coming or to feel like you have the power to control, how you operate or be in alignment with your higher self and your inner child to be able to, collaborate on results that you'd like in your life. It's like you've had these strings pulling you in different directions and you've called it fate. But again, I feel like this is a Carl Jung quote I'm kind of paraphrasing here. It's like the unconscious will control your life and you will call it fate until you bring it to your awareness and you change it. This is the answer. They're showing me like the back of a textbook where all the answers are, like the answer key. This is the answer key. Now, you weren't meant to have all those answers from the beginning because then you wouldn't have learned anything. It's like you had to try on your own to fix it. And I think that's still part of it here. But I feel like you're getting assistance from higher aspects of yourself here, group one, to determine what those answers are and then to check those answers. I'm hearing corroborate. It's like you're able to kind of compare before and after, and you'll see the similarities or the differences, and that will give you the clues you need to be able to advance, or they're saying advance, that's the word, to progress. But the word advance feels quite significant. Something about your advancement. Maybe you felt like you couldn't advance in life, or you couldn't advance past a certain psychological behavior or issue, or you couldn't mature in the way that you had hoped, or something. They're showing me a paintbrush. I don't know why they're showing me like a thick, like the type that you would use to paint a fence, and that's actually what they're showing me is painting a fence, like a white. Oh, again, the color white, a white picket fence. Hematite, ground yourself. I was going to say the white picket fence reminds me of like the quintessential happy home. Fence acts as a barrier, protection. The home itself is there to ground you, to keep you safe. Grounding yourself in the now, I just heard, in the present. And they're showing me a gift wrapping or a gift box. Present, yeah, double entendre. The present is a gift. Ground yourself in it, because it's like even though you're meant to look into the past here, you're not meant to get lost in it. You're meant to stay very anchored. Okay, now they're showing me like a tether line, and it's like you tie off this line of red, I'm hearing red tape. Okay, yeah, it's like you feel like you're not supposed to go into this area because it's toxic. I'm hearing asbestos, like don't go in there. There's asbestos in the walls, something about red tape as a form of protection, but there's something in that room filled with asbestos that you need to find. And even though it's toxic to go in there, you've got this like hazmat suit that you can wear now. Maybe it's this psychological protection. I'm hearing the word infrared, so random. Red, though, does connect to the root chakra, but I'm hearing something about ultraviolet. And they're showing me scanning again. Okay. Anyways, it's like you're tying this thread of fate, the red thread, around your waist, and then traversing back in time, but staying equally grounded in the present, because that's the anchor point that allows you to retrieve what was lost in the past, or what was hidden or suppressed, or what was hidden away, or what was stolen even. But it's in staying grounded in the present that you're able to do this work and not have it be a hindrance. Malachite, it's time to transform. I thought so, yeah, because Death was talking to me about transformation here, and transforming from almost like, it's like one state of development into the next, and being able to fully mature in this particular area. And I keep hearing the word advance, to advance. Now they're showing me an army marching forward. Advance, gaining ground. Ooh, grounding. Like you're gaining ground in your subconscious. You're taking back what was rightfully yours. They're showing me planting of the flag here with this. They said, turn it upright. Okay. This needs to be upright because you're going to be successful here. You're going to reclaim the territory of your own mind. It was always yours, and it wasn't fair that it was taken or supplanted by an oppressor. You're taking it back. You're taking it back. Oh, I love it. Garnet, ignite your passion. This is significantly going to ignite your passion, because it's like something, maybe this was a dream even, because it says recall your dreams here with lepidolite. But the moon card does represent dreams. It can, because it's that subconscious territory. So it's like night with the devil and the moon card here right next to each other, and even the page and the fool and the six of cups. All of these, okay, hold on. All of these cards from here to here are basically talking about subconscious fears repressed that may present themselves as nightmares or just really weird, wonky dreams. But in this reignition of your passion, they're showing me a key in the ignition. You're able to reclaim this dream. Maybe this is even about like, they just said fire codes. Fire codes. Garnet has to do with the element of fire. What horoscope sign is Garnet? Is that Leo? I'm not sure, but it's something about, there's fire here. Fire is passion, it is spirit, it is your manifestation ability, your ability to create. It's your creativity. Yeah, it's connected to your deepest desires and greatest passions in life. So yeah, I feel like there's a remembering or there's a recall. Maybe you're doing it through dream analysis, psychoanalysis through dream interpretation, or symbolic representation understanding. Maybe it's through archetypes. Maybe it's through, I just heard money mindfulness, money manifestation. Maybe this has to do with finances, because you did have these two. Actually, you have 3 of the court cards from the Pentacles suit. Okay. I just heard supplant, and then I heard sake, and then I saw cherry blossom. Could be relevant somehow. Okay, anything else that you want to say here for group number 1, Spirit, in regard to this past time cycle that is calling them? Oh, interesting. They said bring awareness to your feet. Well, okay, let me try to interpret this. The feet are where we ground. The feet could represent our first steps. Again, something about advancement and marching forward. Feet on the ground. Again, that's grounding, but I'm seeing something about, like a moon landing, the planting of the flag on the territory, something about territory. And your territory being reclaimed. The moon, again, represents subconscious. So when they show me that moon landing and claiming that space or that territory for your country. It's for yourself. Like you're taking back your subconscious mind. Okay, gotcha. It's something about footprints again, because they're showing me how when the astronauts walked on the moon, this unknown, unfamiliar territory, it's out there in space and darkness. Yeah, again, subconscious, but they leave footprints or imprints. So there's like an imprint from childhood that may show or crop up in January. Crop circles. Actually, I think the Earth Force card, let me see if I can find it. I don't know if it actually was this deck or not. But the Earth Force card that I was seeing in my mind when they said that, when did that come into my mind? I think it was the Queen of Pentacles in reverse here. It has a crop circle on it. So that could be somehow significant. But essentially, I think what they're saying here is like that there's some kind of an imprint that you're meant to be aware. There it is. Yeah. Raphael, Earth Force, and he's heart chakra. And then you had Malachite, which is also heart chakra. See the crop circle there? I'm hearing the hidden way, and they're showing me the feet. Could be something about a pilgrimage as well, retreat underneath that. But I'm just seeing like what is that? The Tor on the top of the hill there. So something about you being able to move forward or to, okay, they're saying something about facing a particular direction, and they're showing me like moving the feet from here to here so that you're on a different trajectory. And how one small step, ooh, what is that quote? I just heard Niels Bohr. That's so random. I don't even know who that is, but something about Anchorman. Oh, anchoring. Yeah, anchoring into a particular timeline. Staying grounded in the present helps you to shift this while being aware of the past and the future. But Niels Bohr, something about that. But what I was trying to say was like Neil Armstrong, one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind. I'm hearing humankind. So something about what you're doing here in the subconscious, and something about January being like the reset of this template or an opportunity for you to reset it. They're saying Sakura card captor. That's an anime, I think. But they keep showing me cherry blossoms. And maybe something about Japan is significant. That is somehow connected to January. Don't know what that means or who that's for, but that's a very specific message they're bringing through. They keep saying Niels Bohr. I would have to look up who that is. I'll have to do it after. My computer's not out right now, but this is all somehow, they're saying something about a feedback loop. It's all somehow connected, and they want you to have awareness of these like little puzzle pieces so that you can see the pattern in the randomness of this feedback loop. Sorry, they're showing me a speedboat. That's why I kept tripping over that word. It wanted to come out of my mouth as speedboat. Okay. Anything else for group 1? They're saying take your time, analyze. They're saying sit with it. They're showing me somebody in a meditative pose, contemplating, connecting. They're saying connecting. Heart chakra is very significant here. This will help. It's like the inner child here lives, they're saying hiding in the heart. So something here is hiding in the heart. And there's a toxic pattern connected to it that you're meant to retrieve, understand, release, free yourself from that internalized depression or whatever was going on there, and reclaim that territory for yourself. They're saying something about figuratively speaking. Figurative. Something about figuring out figurative meaning. Because that's the language of the subconscious and the spirit. That the high priestess and the psychoanalyst, they both speak a very similar language. And even inner children. The child, the psychoanalyst, and the high priestess, they all speak a similar language. What is that language? Symbolism. Teach yourself that language, refresh yourself on that language, reset that language, recode, reprogram yourself. You're going to see a big difference in the time period that's upcoming. Something about October could be, oh, that's the second card. October. I don't know. I just got that from the King of Pentacles. I'm hearing 10 of Pentacles. And I was going to say, because October reminds me of harvest. That's when we harvest crops, pumpkins, all that always reminds me of harvest. Death can even refer to harvest because it's like a harvesting of the soul. Again, they're saying advancement. Now, that's not literal, that's figurative. But again, familiarize yourself with this language, group 1, because it's going to be very significant to the advancement of your soul and this progression of your life from one state of development to the next. Ooh, they just said fruitful burden lifted. What? Fruitful burden lifted. They're showing me apples. Something about apples and cherries. Again, sakura, the cherry blossom, the cherry blossom to actual cherry fruit. Development, stages of development. Something about the month you were born, I just heard as well. Something about the birthstone. Again, it doesn't have to be garnet, but there's something about the birthstone that they want you to look up, or something about a grounding stone that acts as an anchor and recalls you to that point of inception, birth. Yeah, something about life and death. Maybe it's even fear of stepping outside your comfort zone. Even the reference to grounding. It's like, how do you stay grounded when you're on the moon? Because you're human, you're from Earth. How do you stay grounded when you're on the moon? It's a foreign object. Well, you ground to yourself. That's how. Okay, group number 1, I think that's the message here. I think we hit on it, and I hope this was helpful. So just take what resonates and leave the rest. Again, it doesn't have to make sense. It just needs to unfold. It's actually what Spirit's showing me. It just needs to unfold, and they're showing me like this spiraling of time. So take note of what feels significant to you, or see what comes up, or allow your subconscious to direct you or to prompt you or nudge you in the direction you're meant to go. I hope it is helpful for your greatest and highest good, as always, and for the greatest and highest good of the whole. I usually say the collective, but I heard whole soul collective. The whole soul collective. Holistic soul. All right. I love you guys. Thank you so much for being here, and we'll see you in the next reading. Bye. All right. Hi, group number 2. Welcome to your reading. You guys were drawn to the second clock, or that's actually the digital one, isn't it? Yeah, the second clock is the digital clock. And you guys also may have been drawn to this card, October, which I introduced in the intro. So something about October could be significant here in regard to the past and the past cycle that you're meant to, I'm hearing, identify with. Something about October came up in group 1 as well. So if you came from that group, this could hold additional cue codes, or it could be connected to the messages in that reading. If you feel called to watch group 1 after the fact, that could be something about time swapping. I'm hearing that's so random. Okay, so just follow your intuition. These readings are time coded is what I'm trying to say, but they're saying something about of a kind. It's reminding me of avocado for some reason. 9 of Swords. Okay. Of a kind mind versus an anxiety riddled mind. October. Well, October is Scorpio season, where we do deal with eighth house themes of like psychological disturbances, taboos, fears. I'm hearing something about a request or a request form. They're showing me request line, request form. Now they're showing me that digital clock again, calling in on the request line, I'm hearing, and it's like a radio station. Maybe this is talking about the frequency you're on. What radio station are you listening to? Is it one that is driven by this frequency of fear? Or is it one that's aligned with what you want to hear? Knight of Pentacles reversed. I shuffled this deck a couple of times before your reading, as I tend to do, but I saw the Page of Pentacles a couple of times. So there could be something about fruitfulness. Something about hidden fears. I'm hearing don't regress. Three of Cups. I wanted to say crops. October does feel like harvest season to me. Something about this time cycle has you worried, group 2. I don't know why or if you're even aware of this, but I'm getting this energy of I'm concerned that maybe my harvest is not going to come to bear. I'm not going to get the fruits of my labors. I've put in all this work and I don't know if I'm going to be able to celebrate that at the time, like when the time comes. Something about a full plate versus an empty plate they're showing me. Like not an empty plate because you've eaten everything off of it, but like an empty plate with nothing on it to begin with versus a full plate. They're saying something about fruits and study. What? Study, fruit study? I don't know what that's talking about. 6 of Pentacles. No, they said study the nature of the fruit. And they're showing me a fruit tree. And it's like, what does the tree do? I was drawn to something yesterday, synchronistically, about the giving tree, which is a banned book because it has a lot of different interpretations and it's open to interpretation. But I remember as a kid, it was kind of triggering to me, that book, because it has an undertone of codependency and overgiving and a lack of boundaries and being taken advantage of. So yeah, unhealthy relationship dynamics. There could be something about that, like overgiving, not necessarily in relationships, but it could be something about like when the harvest comes in, you unintentionally squander it. No, that doesn't feel quite right. Right when I said it, it was like, no. It's more like you either don't get enough. It's like feast or famine. I'm trying to look for words to describe this. It feels energetically, group 2, like feast or famine, because that's the image they're showing me again, is like the empty plate versus the full plate. And when I said plate, I just saw a breastplate, like a cuirass, armor, chest armor, torso armor. Interesting. Okay. Well, armor can represent boundaries. And if it's on the chest, it's covering the heart. So this can be, again, interpersonal boundaries. They're saying bouncing off of. I'm hearing the word fatigue. Yeah, the 9 of Swords can have to do with like mental fatigue. I'm hearing the word agitation. Also 9 of Swords energy. Okay. What are we actually talking about here, Spirit? And what is the connection to October? They're saying time cycle, even before I finished asking that. Time cycle. Okay, they're saying something about agitation of ways. They're showing me pathways in a desert carved into the sand. Like you've trudged along these paths, or you've been exploring the desert in some way, going back and forth and like leaving these marks in the land. The desert has been a consistent message that's been coming up on my channel for a long time. Recently, there's been a few channeled messages about like the unicorn in the desert, but I've even looking back at some of my older work, which was actually the inspiration for this video, even the cover image, the thumbnail was derived in that same style from over a year ago. So maybe this is October from a year ago, or it is just you looking back at previous work or the production of what you've done before, what you've been able to, so I'm hearing the word increase, what you've been able to yield. But I think this is also concerning what you yield to. Something about pressures. They're showing me like a pressure cooker and a pumpkin being squeezed or pressed like it's going to explode if it's so there's some kind of stress here. Something about stress eating could also be significant. I just saw that as well. And the empty plate, full plate can kind of remind me of like binge cycles. That doesn't have to be that specifically. And I'm sorry if that's triggering for anyone. I probably should have said trigger warning around that. But it's, okay, I just heard anabolic. I think that's connected to blood pressure, which is also blood pressure rises from stress. Okay, so there's something stressful here that maybe occurred in October or is connected to October. It's stress inducing, is what Spirit just said. Okay, stress inducing. Why? Okay, thank you. They said very, very clearly, I heard that, needs not met. Needs not met. So maybe in past cycles when you should have been harvesting, you didn't get what you needed. Yeah, I'm hearing going to bed hungry. It's like, it doesn't have to be that literally, but it feels energetically like that, like not getting your needs met based on the expectations or the work you put in even. While others are celebrating and toasting and saying, look at all this yield that we have from our crops, it's like your crops failed for some reason. They didn't have the right soil, or they didn't have the right water, or it didn't rain on your part of the field. And you're like watching everybody else feast and celebrate while you're there with nothing, just kicking the dirt. It's again like the desert, wandering in the desert, looking for water, looking for food, not finding the oasis, and tracing your steps back, trying to figure out, what have I done wrong here? I want to tell you, group 2, you haven't done anything wrong. You're just looking in the wrong places, or something about a grass is greener attitude, like looking elsewhere is actually a distraction. Okay, that's very clear. Thank you, Spirit. Looking elsewhere is a distraction. Maybe this is even talking about comparison. Like, I keep getting this 3 of Cups energy that this is not you, and you keep looking at these 3 women with these cups, toasting, celebrating, having a great time. I'm hearing taking Friday off. That's so random, but that's what I just heard, taking Friday off. And you're like, why do I have to work? Or why do I have to do this? Or why am I not getting what I need? Something about that. It could show up as envy, but I think more than anything, it's actually like this deeper insecurity around not having what you need when you need it, or that you've done something wrong, and so that's why you're not getting it. But I'm not feeling like you've done anything practically speaking wrong, like you've checked all the boxes or you've done all the right work. Something about an assignment. And your form, like the form that your actions take, you're checking off all the boxes in this assignment. So then what's wrong here, Spirit? Or what's going on? 3 of Pentacles. Okay, oh, hold on. A lot just came through with that. They said something about procession of the equinoxes, which is like this larger time cycle of humanity awakening. So I don't know how that specifically connects to this particular... No, they're saying golden age. Something about this is connected to this much larger cycle of the golden age. They're saying great awakening. Okay, but how does group number 2's work? They're saying harvest and yield again. Something about, look at the work I've done working through the night, I just heard. Have you been working too much, group number 2? I'm not quite sure how to interpret this message, but there's something about work, like this intensity of work that may be increasing stress levels, or again, like putting in a lot of work and then not seeing the yield from it. Something about not feeling connected, I just heard as well. Temperance in reverse. Yeah, there's some like overdoing of something. Sorry, I just hit the microphone. Something about like questing too much, putting so much effort into going all around looking for this greener pasture. Yeah, they're saying something about tilling the soil again. They keep giving me this image of the desert versus like the crops, or versus the field where those crops would be grown, and something about the nature of the crops. They're saying quantify it. Quantify it how? 4 of Swords reversed. No rest. Yeah, like, okay, I just heard no rest for the wicked. Do you feel like you're being punished in some way here, group 2? This could just be like a subconscious thing, feeling like, I'm doing everything right. Why am I not getting the results? Am I being punished for something that I've done wrong? But I keep getting this like restless state of mind, restless, or like not having the time to rest. Or maybe feeling like if you do rest, your needs won't be met. Oh. You're like, if I slow down, I'm not going to be able to eat. Not going to be able to celebrate with everyone else. Not going to be able to take that time off. So I gotta go. I got to dig in harder. I got to walk faster on these trails, on these paths in the desert. I got to tough it out. The sun's bearing down on me. I don't have time to stop and drink water. There's something about like pushing yourself really hard, or maybe not hard enough at times, because like there's this real duality here. Like there's a lack of moderation in one of these areas, or in however this presents for you. It's like a lack of moderation, and they want you to be something about special elective course. I just heard. They said in the Great Awakening, it's like you've signed up for this special elective course. It's almost like you've doubled your workload somehow, group 2. I don't know, what do you mean, Spirit? Like how? Doubled your workload? Yeah, this is the energy. The Sun and the 5 of Pentacles. It's like you're being beaten by the sun here, and the crops are failing, and you're left out in the cold. Way too hot, way too cold, too full, gorging on food, and then empty and malnutrition. Like there's this severe type of inequality, like this imbalance. I don't know how else to put it. There's some kind of a severe imbalance, and it may not be literally like that. That's the energy of it. That's how I'm interpreting it, how I'm feeling it, how I'm seeing it. But it doesn't have to literally present as a severe imbalance in your life like that. It could be, a little bit hyperbolic in its energetic signature, because Spirit's trying to draw your attention to it. So keep that in mind. But there's definitely something here that's been off, and it's connected to a cycle in October. They're saying starting point, something about October, but October would be the harvest, which would be the ending point. But maybe it's both. 8 of Wands reversed. I almost wanted to call it 8 of Swords, which is more about being trapped in your own mind. 8 of Wands reversed, no progress. So many paths explored, no progress, no yield. Nothing to show for it, nothing to give, nothing to receive. I'm hearing in perpetuity. 9 of Cups, not satisfied, not fulfilled, not full, not happy, not able to share because you don't have enough. Giving but not getting. What is this about? 7 of Cups, reversed. I'm hearing all mixed up. 9 of Wands on the bottom. Okay. They just showed me a mixing bowl, like a KitchenAid one, the standing mixer that you would have on your, I don't have one of those, but I know the ones, and something about mixing something up, trying to make something. Again, food references seem significant here, food symbolism. I'm hearing you gotta eat. You gotta eat. Your needs deserve to be met. I just heard that. Yes. And yes, they do. I agree with Spirit there. Group number 2. Yes, they do. Your needs deserve to be met. So how are you going to, something about the shape? Tiger's eye, overcome your fears. This really feels like facing your fears of lack. I heard fears of non-substance. That is interesting. Fears of non-substance, or something about insubstantial or inconsequential. And they said living. Something about living circumstance could be part of this. Yeah, it feels very practical, like work, money, career, notoriety, outcomes, home, family. It feels like that. But there's some stress, like deep fear around not having enough, not being enough, not doing enough. Yeah, look at that. Iolite, shift your money mindset. So this is a lack mentality, and it's deeply ingrained. There's a lot of fear there. Like you may even have more than enough, or when you do have more than enough, it's that, I keep getting feast or famine though. Like you could have so much, they're showing me food in a larder. Like you could have so much food in your pantry and still feel like it's not enough. It's almost like giving me hoarder type energy or behavior. Like, let me stock up for those lean times. But even that is like, it's very, I keep feeling like it's very hyperbolic. It may not show up like this, but the example here of a hoarder is somebody who has too much because they feel like they have not enough. And that's a wound, and that's a fear. Ooh, I just heard Great Depression, which speaks twofold. Number one, Nine of Swords. This can be about literal depression. I'm hearing depression of assets. Okay, interesting. But the Great Depression, 1930s, don't know when it specifically, what month it started. I don't know if that's even relevant, but something about that, it's like that mentality of, they're saying like food rations. This could even be a scarcity mindset that stems from a past life, because I just saw a flash of a card from a past life Akashic deck that I have. It's like a karmic deck, and it's the card that says food and starvation. And they're showing me like loaves of bread, and they're showing me pennies. Something about pennies and flour. Again, crops, producing, yielding, having food. Yeah, it's all connected here somehow, group number 2. Rose quartz, open up your heart. They did show me that breastplate over the heart. So opening up your heart here is going to help you to heal this wounding. They said shine a light on it. They're showing me the sun. Nourish the self, nurture the self, regain. Something about a stance. Stabilization. Yeah, something's very off balance here. It's like you weren't able to stabilize because of this fear frequency. They're saying inlaid. They're saying inlaid in time. Now they're showing me a loop or a spiral of time, and they are showing me like here, 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 here. These are all points on the map, is what they're showing me, of experiences that you may have had from past and present life where the needs were not met. And this imprint it's inlaid in all of these different areas. So how do you overcome this? Well, it feels like trusting yourself. Something about equality is really important here. Treating yourself as an equal. I don't know what that looks like for you, treating yourself as an equal. We have phantom quartz, embrace change. Phantom matrix. But it feels like something haunting you, like fear haunting you. Or maybe you feel like a ghost in the system. You're just a cog in the machine, but never getting, not the squeaky wheel, so never getting the grease. Look at that. Chrysoprase. Allow yourself to receive. What does the Six of Pentacles in reverse talk about? Not receiving or not giving. And those are two sides of the same coin. No coincidence, I'm using a reference to a coin here, both because it's about change and it's about literal change, because they showed me that penny. Now they're saying pennies from heaven. So I feel like there's going to be an increase in your ability to receive if you allow yourself to receive, if you face these fears of lack, of scarcity, of maybe even dependence or dependency. I just heard trying to prove your worth, something about working overtime. Taking on, they're saying something about extra credit. They're showing me like the student that's just grinding it out, trying to apply themselves in really aggressive study to get the approval of the teacher, who's just kind of like not even paying attention. Or it feels like the teacher's not paying attention. And it's like, who are you really doing it for at that point, group number 2? Okay, let me see. Sodalite, speak your truth. Opening up, speaking your truth, asking for your needs to be met. This is what it feels like. It's like facing your fears and asking for your needs to be. You know what this is honestly reminding me of, group number 2? I have a very literal example of this for you if you feel so called. On my other channel, the Divine Channel Collective Readings, I did a video of basically my statement of my issue with this and how it's connected to my personal past lives and the issues that I'm facing in debt and just all of the fears that I had to face in even creating that video and asking for charity which you guys have been so amazing with. We've paid down $6,000 of that debt. Woo! There's a lot more, but that just has given me so much hope, and it's made me feel like I do deserve to receive. And it took me opening up and asking for it, which was like the hardest thing in the world to do, because I just wanted to struggle and strive on my own. I wanted to prove I could do it on my own. I wanted to get to the point where I was just burnt out, depressed, so stressed all the time that I couldn't even do my work. So I feel like I'm like a living example of this energy for you if this resonates. I hope it doesn't, because I don't want anybody else to struggle with this energy. I know all too well what it's like. But you know what? If it does resonate with you, just know that you're coming out of it. We're coming out of it. We're magnetizing here together to manifest something different. We're coming out of that. It's really a self-worth wound at the end of the day. It's like, yeah, that's what it is. And I'm aware of that, and Spirit has been guiding me through this process of healing it. And I can see that they're doing the same with you. So being able to speak up for yourself and your needs, to advocate for yourself, maybe asking for what you deserve. Like if you're putting in extra work, ask for extra pay. If you're putting in overtime, make sure you're getting paid for that overtime, or you get a promotion or a raise or something. Like speak up, be the squeaky wheel, because this stress or this fear it feels like it's dominating you, and it's detracting, like it's taking from you while you're giving so much, leaving you with practically nothing. So really open yourself up to this ability that you have to advocate for yourself. And it's not, I'm hearing have the audacity. Yeah, have the audacity, because people out here who don't work half as hard as you do are feeling entitled to twice as much as you get, is kind of what I'm getting here. Group 2. So make sure that you're advocating for yourself, because if you don't, no one else will. And when you advocate for yourself, it's a statement to you about your own self-worth. That's why it's so healing, and it breaks this cycle, breaks the pattern. You disrupt that pattern, embrace the change. You're advocating for your own happiness. I just heard stillness of breath. Labradorite, see the magic. Advocate for yourself, you're going to see the magic. One more. Oh, I love this. Ocean Jasper, schedule yourself in. You need more rest days, group number 2. Yeah. Schedule yourself in. Factor yourself in. It's like productive rest. That's something Spirit taught me, because I was like really kind of a workaholic, and I would push myself too hard, and I would overestimate my capacity to do things and undervalue what I did contribute. And they taught me I have to choose to slow down. They can't force me to, and well, actually they can, because I would get sick anytime that I would override their guidance, and I would be forced to stop. But it's like, if you choose to slow down because, first of all, you're being guided to, but more importantly, because you know you need it and you deserve it, or you're able to honor that within yourself, you're opening yourself up to you. You're meeting those needs from the inside. And this is what's going to break that pattern. I'm hearing stabilize. It's going to stabilize you. Now they're showing me a horse stable. That's interesting. A lot of references to crops, horses, and farming. It get like something about the Industrial Revolution. There could have been a past life in like late 1800s, early 1900s, or something further back that's somehow significant here, because they keep giving me these references to like farming life. But yeah, I feel like you prioritizing yourself here is going to be a major, major shift, major player in facilitating the meeting of those needs from the inside out. Look at that. Look what's on the bottom. Rhodochrosite, remember your worth. Heart chakra, again, sorry, there's like always cat hairs all over everything. Cat hairs and like long Siobhan hairs, because me and Kitty are both long-haired girlies. It's just so much everywhere. But remember your worth. Remember your worth. This is the message. Remember your worth and treat yourself appropriately. I just saw like a quote from a meme that I've seen, where it's like, know your worth and then add tax. That's that's what you got to do here, group number 2. Know your worth and then add tax. And sometimes it's hard to see how much you're actually doing, because maybe you're doing a lot in the mind, or maybe you're doing a lot in the spiritual realm, or maybe you're doing a lot in the physical, but it doesn't feel like you are because you're not seeing those results. So please acknowledge your hard work and schedule yourself in. I'm hearing set yourself free. Oh, I just heard remove the obligation. Something, they just said you've come so far. They're showing me the 9 of Wands. Proceed, proceed, proceed. But then after they said that, I saw like proceeds of something. I'm hearing coming in hot. They're showing me that 8 of, there's another hair on the table. Well, Kitty's for confirmation, and she's very protective and healing. So Kitty's here in your reading, even though she's actually, I think she's sleeping on the couch. You need to rest. You need a little cat nap here, group number 2. But coming in hot, coming in fast. They said turn the 8 of Wands around. So it was slow. It's like, I'm hearing slow like molasses. Like all this work you were doing, you were putting in so much effort. They're showing me something about the cart and the horse, not putting the cart before the horse. But they're also showing me you strapped to this cart, trying to pull it like you're a horse. Oh boy. Like trying to plow the fields by yourself. Like maybe you need a little help, or maybe this was a way of holding yourself back subconsciously, like trying to do it all yourself and then not having what you need, and then being like, well, that means I'm not worthy because I can't do it alone, but you were never meant to. Because the 2 3s are standing out to me. These are community oriented. It's about connection. Yeah, heart chakra, whole self. A more holistic approach means working with others. Something about receiving in kind. Didn't they say kind before? Yeah, in the beginning, in the 9 of, it was over here somewhere. Receiving in kind. Kind gestures, something about kindness. Maybe the kindness that you have given out is going to come back. What? They just said abbreviate the world. I don't know what the heck that means. Abbreviate the world? I'm just trying to figure out what they meant by that. So abbreviation. It's like a short form for something. The world. Humankind. Oh, the word kind. Be kind to yourself. And I just heard move out the way. Move out of the way. Where do you feel like the world has not been kind to you? Where it has moved you out of the way? Or where do you need to move out of the way of, they're saying squaring up. Root chakra, the square root of something, doubling something. I'm just free associating, see if anything hits here. Something about squaring up can also mean like getting ready to fight, being on your guard all the time, not being willing to open up or to receive. Yeah, it's like having these barriers up doesn't allow you to have your needs met, because barriers keep things out, whereas boundaries let in what you need. That came up in a member's reading. Very significant message here for you, group number 2. Okay, I think that's it. Just, please remember your worth, okay? Remember your worth. Make sure you're taking time for you. Feed yourself, rest appropriately, calm your nervous system, regulate yourself as best you can, eat nutritious food, sleep, work only when you feel stable. Now that's kind of, there's a lot of nuance to that. Take it with a grain of salt. But there's something about you being able to honor your needs, and that is what's going to provide the actual literal needs for the literal needs that you have. Okay, I'm going to leave the reading there. I hope this was helpful. Just take what resonates and leave the rest. I hope it wasn't too triggering, but I do hope that it left you feeling more connected to yourself, or that it leads to that. So something about this cycle of time is going to be a major shift, and it will produce a harvest as you can as you can water yourself. Like water the grass where the grass is greenest where you water it. That's what they say. So water yourself, nurture yourself, group number 2, and allow others to support you in that. Yeah. Okay, last thing. They said asking for it is an act of self-compassion. That is also nurturing yourself. Okay. Love you. Hope this was helpful for your greatest and highest good. That's the intention and the greatest and highest good of all humankind, as they said. Be kind to yourself, be kind to others. Blessed be. Okay, we'll see you in the next reading. Bye. All right. Hi, group number 3. Welcome to your reading. You guys were drawn to the last clock and or potentially this card that says around March that we pulled in the intro, or that presented in the intro. So, okay, we're looking at time cycles, and this is an important timing message that Spirit wants to bring you. And it's not necessarily about predictions for the future. It's more so looking into the past and understanding the cyclical nature of time. So something around March could be significant. They're showing me a past, present, future spread in tarot, like one card for the past, one for the present, one for the future. I'm not going to do that in this reading, but they're showing me that for some reason. So maybe if you read cards, or if you're drawn to a reading that has that format, there could be something special about that or significant in that reading. Especially if you do readings for yourself and you pull those 3 cards, something about the interpretation of that will apply. It could be connected to the next cycle of March. Actually, I was very specific in this reading that, actually Spirit was very specific in the inspiration for this reading that it was going to be looking at past. Like the past is calling you. There's past stuff to review because it's connected to the now and the future. But for you guys, I am getting a bit of an increased emphasis on future timelines. Okay, so all right. So that being said, something about March could be significant here. And I just kind of bounced the card up and down unconsciously, was like just doing it. So something about March could see the bowl, something about a bowl. I meant to say ball. Concave versus convex. The bowl, okay, hold on. We're not even getting cards yet, but I'm already getting all these channeled messages because they're showing me a bowl and how it's concave. And then they're showing me the bouncing ball, and they were tracing out the arc of that ball, which is convex. They're saying something about the nature of time connected to that. Concave, convex, concave, convex. It's like a wave frequency. They're saying reiteration. They said past pipeline, and they're showing me in the game Super Mario when you like warp through a pipe. Time warp. Yeah, now they're singing the time warp song from Rocky Horror Picture Show. Let's do the time warp again. Okay, so there's some kind of like a portal that you're going through. They're saying mid-March. Around March, yeah, mid-March, something about a portal. They're saying gateway. They're showing me the color green of those pipes. They're saying not the red pipes. I can't remember if in Super Mario the red pipes were the ones with like the piranha plants and the green ones were the warp ones, or what, but they're showing me the color green in that particular pipe, and then not the red ones. I always see color in terms of chakras. That's just kind of like how I'm hardwired. So red could be root chakra, green could be heart chakra. So it's something about a heart portal, not the root chakra portal. Something about stamina, they're saying, and restabilizing. And they're saying it's connected to March. Okay. Well, that's a lot, even before getting the cards. But let's see what comes up here for you, group number 3. Page of Swords. Well, he is the one who channels, but he's not necessarily sure what to do with it. He's still in those learning stages. I feel like, I actually just heard the word exploration. And they're saying time warping again. Okay, all right. You're exploring different time potentials is kind of what it feels like here. I just heard pivot point. They're showing me gateways. They're showing me windows. 4 paned windows, they said. Yeah, the kind with the cross in the middle. Something about 4 segments of time. Oh, March. No, that's number 3. I always get March and April. Is it 3 and 4? Okay, we have the Chariot reversed. They're saying window pane. Maybe you're getting a view. The Page of Swords is kind of like a sneak peek, it's like a preview into a particular timeline. Like you're not actually traveling there. A Chariot card can be about literal travel, but it's in reverse. So you're not traveling there. You're just looking through the window. Like you're not going inside, but you're getting a preview. Oh, that's why they want you to have awareness of, they're saying what came before, because it gives you context. They're saying the word supposition. I think that's one that they've brought through before, and I've had to look it up. I don't remember what it is now, but there's something about this new... Okay, they're saying... Wait, they said new green. Now they're showing me a putting green, like on a golf course. New green. But again, that color green, they keep bringing through that. They're saying representation. Queen of Cups. Well, that's heart chakra. Okay, new green. New land. I'm hearing new landing point. They're showing, oh, that's really cool. They're showing me a window in the sky that you're looking through, group number 3, and peering down at that golf course. It's like you're looking at this future potential. Something about the golf course, again, the color green, heart chakra, like a new earth potential, or new grounding line. I just heard new grounding line. And they're saying to the future. I just heard tadpole. They're saying the word shift, transformation, and they're showing me like the life cycle of the tadpole as it starts to grow legs, and then it grows arms, becomes a frog. Green, again. Sitting on the lily pad, something about lily pads. Hopping, bouncing ball, hopping frog. From lily pad to lily pad. Diving under, hopping up and over. Okay, interesting. I could try and interpret this, but I think I'm just meant to bring through the symbolism of it so that you can piece it together, because there's a lot of coding in this reading. A lot of coding. They're saying the word specific. Okay, the Hermit reversed. Something about evolution or time scale, because I'm seeing this like progression of one stage of being to the next, like this evolution, or the process of yourself evolving through your particular life cycle. The Hierophant reversed as well. Oh, 5-9, they said 59 days, 5-9. 59 days, that's one less than 60. Not sure what that's about. Something about, what is that, like 2 months? Page of Pentacles. They said the pages will turn. And they're showing me the turning of pages. So okay, next chapter, they're saying. The pages will turn. Okay, and then they just showed me these 2 page cards turning, literally. What? Well, what turns? The wheel of time. Pages will turn a certain age. Pages are like the youngest energy in the court cards. They're going to turn. They're going to grow up. They're going to get older. They're going to mature. Wisdom, the Hermit here. And the Hierophant, 59 days. They're saying turning point. Okay. Yeah, turning point, next chapter. Something about this preview into the next timeline that you're getting access to. It's like advanced notice or advanced warning. They're showing me a movie preview. Like you don't see the whole movie, you just get like a snippet of it. An idea. They're saying something about an idea. Oh yeah, Page of Swords would be an idea. And Ace of Wands can also be an inspiration. I heard the word download. Yeah, you're going to download something. You are downloading. They're saying downloading in progress, and they're showing me like an old computer going like it's downloading. You're downloading right now, group 3. Okay. They said downloading intuition. The Emperor. I heard new standing point, and then I heard championship status, and they showed me something about putting on the green, par for the course. So much golf, like there's golf references coming through. Ace of Swords, there's a new idea, a new insight, and it's coming from the future. Like it's coming from future you. It's like future you is inspiring you by giving you a little glimpse or an insight into your potential and what you're meant to do with that. Okay, they just said something about an insight into field mechanics. Green pastures, they're saying. Again, something about green. Field mechanics. This could even be about quantum leaping, like an awareness of the nature of quantum time. The time field. The pages turn. They're saying it again. Time dilation, they just said. Time dilation. Time superimposes itself over you. That's what Spirit just said as well. That's what I heard. Time superimposes itself over you. Something about overseeing. Emperor would be an overseer. But it's reminding me of that vision they showed me of like looking through this window in the sky down onto the golf course, like overseeing something. Seeing from above. The Magician, as above, so below, but it's in reverse. A lot of these are reverse. It doesn't feel negative. It feels like internal energy that hasn't been made manifest yet because it's still in its pure thought form. With the pages and the aces, it's a new chapter, first of all, clearly, because this is new start in court cards. This is new start in minor arcana of each elemental suit. Yes, so there's a new chapter, a new beginning. They're saying the word progression as I'm speaking, but it hasn't been solidified, or it's not concrete yet. It hasn't been made manifest. The wisdom hasn't been developed yet, but they're saying the pages will turn. Like you'll read to the next chapter, or you'll have a preview of that chapter, and you'll be able to apply it to get there. They just showed me somebody reading the end of the book while they're in the middle of it. Something about domination or dominion. That's very Emperor energy too. I'm hearing success story. And they were pointing me to, they were saying that these two are connected. They are sitting on top of each other, but the Chariot and the Emperor, these two are connected. It's the success story, but it hasn't been accomplished yet. But it's like you're getting a notion of the future of where you're going to be going, or the success that you'll have by the end of this quote unquote book, or the end of this chapter, let's say. It doesn't have to be the end of the book, but you're getting an indication of that. Like I'm hearing, okay, they just said for the win. And then I saw in my mind, or like in my vision, FTW, which is abbreviation for the win. They said short form. And they're showing me that putting into the what? Par for the course, they're saying, and they said 4, and then they showed me the number 4, par for the course. Success, they're saying it again, success, the number 4, they're saying for you. 4 jumps, they said. 4 jumps. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is fascinating. I'm very immersed in your reading, group number. I mean, I always am with every reading, but like I'm really curious about what they're talking about here for you, group number 3. 10 of Wands. I almost wanted to say 10 of Pentacles, though. They're saying for you, for you. The number 4 does seem significant here. 5 of Swords. Okay, they just said friction point with that 5 of... So, well, these two kind of... They said the catalyst. Okay. Oh, the catalyst for growth. That's what I heard. Catalyst for growth. Okay. So the friction point or any resistance that you meet here in maybe taking the idea and applying it, or taking the download and making it real, putting it into action, or maybe even potentially opening up to it. Yeah, I'm hearing making it real. Any resistance that's put in place around that is a catalyst for growth. I'm hearing change agent. And then they just showed me a flash of like changing agents in terms of like an insurance provider or something like that. Like something about altering course again. The Lovers could be significant. Random. I just heard pay it forward. Oh my God. And again, 4 and then word, 4 words, a 4-letter word, love. And they're showing me the foreword of a book. Oh my God, this is so richly layered, group 3. The story that you're telling. Par for the course. Yeah, something about 4 putts or 4 jumps or 4 portals. Number maybe 444, a 444 portal. When would that be? Or something about mid-March to April. Strength. The Empress. I was just going to say, look at all the yellow. It's drawing my attention, the color yellow. Okay, so you had red, now yellow and green. Root chakra, solar plexus, heart chakra. Love is definitely a factor here. An open window in time. Spirit just said it again. An open window in time. Foresight, forward. Maybe you're, again, like some kind of prophetic word, channeling something that's to come in the future, where you're going to achieve something, some success. Maybe it's in a relationship. Maybe it's in what you're manifesting, or both. It could be something about tandem. They just said tandem. Dual wheels. The pages turn. Yeah, there's two people here. Interlocked. I'm hearing actually, they weirdly, they said interspiced. What? Cumin and paprika, salt and pepper. What? It's like spices that go together. They're different, but they go together. Maybe this is like the relationship, or the ideas themselves, like a sword and a stone. Oh my God, Page of Pentacles is earth, sword and the stone. They're different, but they go together. Takes great strength to pull it out. I'm hearing something about choosing to listen. There's definitely a download. There's a channel coming in here, and you may choose to listen to it. You may not. But if you do, you're going to see potential for the future and how it may unfold. And you always have free will in how you interact with that, or how you create that as you go along, because it hasn't been made. It's like it's not set in stone yet, group number 3. But there's something that is potential here that if you wish to read further into the book of your life, you could see and then apply that in the now and by a certain time period. They're saying the number 8, strength card, August. They're bringing me back to 59 again. So 59 days. April, May, June, July, August. No. August, September, October. I'm not sure, but they're saying something about sowing seeds, planting seeds. There's been a lot of that symbolism in the other groups as well. The star card reversed. Okay, they said internal hope, new hope, and the sky's the limit. Again, these references to the window in the sky. They're saying time period. And the Hanged Man, I had a feeling this card was going to come out because I saw him when I was pre-shuffling. So something's in stasis right now because it hasn't been written yet, or it has been written, but it hasn't been lived yet. The Tower card in reverse on the bottom, holy. And there's another Page of Cups. I didn't mean to like open it to that. Okay, The Tower card reversed. I just saw in like a time lapse building of a tower. Something about before the fall. Precognition, something about this awareness coming in again. Knowing how to build it different. Okay, so maybe you're even getting like back to the golf analogy. Let's take that as this like a general metaphor here. It's like you're getting a look at a putt that you might try to make that doesn't make it into the hole. And you're able to see that and then go, okay, I know what to do to fix it. And then in the actual living of that event, you're able to get it in because it's not predetermined. It's not like a self-fulfilling prophecy where, oh, I saw myself fail, so I'm going to fail. It's not like that. It's like I saw what doesn't work and I'm able to adjust it before it's made manifest because I have awareness and I have free will. That's what this feels like. That's why I want to say it's not written in stone. It's not predetermined or destined. It's open to you, but there are potentials that you're being made aware of so that you can use that information to your advantage rather than having that work as a disadvantage. But it's all about like how you take the information and what you do with it. That's what's most important. Okay. Let's get some crystal cards. The stone. Yeah, something about this is significant there. Sunstone, take pleasure in the things you do. I think there's a lot of good that will come from this. Turquoise, prioritize your health. Like, say, for example, you get an indication into the future of like, oh, if I keep doing this, it may weaken my physical constitution. And so because I got that channel download, I'm going to do things differently. And then when you actually get to that chapter in the book where you could have been weakened, you're actually strengthened because you got the foresight, because forewarning is forearming. You're getting the knowledge so that you can do something about it. Live your purpose. And I get the sense here, group number 3, that this affects all areas of your life, like yourself, your purpose, maybe even what you're studying. I just heard something about studying, even if you're not studying literally like in school, but like you're learning something here with these pages turning, like you're studying life in a way here, or the time, nature of time cycles, whatever it is. Physical health, relationships, manifestation. It's like across the board, everything is affected here. Something about time to integrate. Rhodochrosite, remember your worth. I heard playful good fortune. Playful good fortune. Azurite, get laser focused. Okay, so yeah, it's like you're being shown the options so that you can choose, so that you can focus on what you want here. And that constructs, it builds. It builds from scratch because this new chapter has like a unwritten potential here. But something about this 5 of Swords is drawing my attention back to it. And what was that? What were they talking about with that? Something about the resistance or like a catalyst. So the resistance point is a catalyst for you to see this potential of the future. But this was a past reading. We haven't talked like at all about the past here for you, group 3. Oh, they're saying mission statement. Something about a mission statement. That's what's... They're saying origin. Something about the soul's trajectory. Okay, soul origin, mission statement, soul's trajectory. It's like almost feels like a pre-birth plan. Yeah, okay, they said statements of the soul, and they're showing me like a bank statement. Something measurable or trackable, or like having receipts for something. I'm not sure what this means, but maybe that's... Well, they're saying it's all connected. I feel like I'm missing something, though. I feel like I'm missing a really important piece here. And maybe that's how you'll feel when you see the future. Because here's the thing. This is a repeating message that Spirit has been showing me behind the scenes for months and months. They've been showing me sort of like, and having me think about this idea of watching something out of order. Like, for example, looking at, well, they showed us the example of looking forward in the book before you've come to that point. So you don't necessarily, like, you see what happens, but you don't necessarily have context for how it happens or what led to that. Okay, Spirit just said context of personal choice. And they've shown me that example with regard to shows that I'm watching. They'll have me, sometimes I'll like come in the middle of a show and I don't know how it began, so I don't know what led to it, or I'll come in at the end and I'm like, I'm confused about what led here, but then they'll bring me back and they'll like, because you know how sometimes channels will cycle on a loop and they'll kind of replay the same thing over, and then I'll see the beginning of the show and it will make sense. And it's kind of like I'm watching it in reverse because I'm getting all of the indicators of what I already know has happened based on what is happening. And it's kind of like I'm like, oh, that's how that oh, that makes sense. Oh, okay. So this is an interesting message because on one hand, they're saying it's not set in stone, it's not predetermined, but at the same time, they're giving this example of like it's already written, or like a show, it's already recorded. Something about recarded. They're showing me like an identification card, like a driver's license. Chariot reversed. Don't need a car to travel in this case. But they were saying in the beginning of your reading, past, present, future, recarded. It's like maybe you laid out a spread and it said one thing and then you pull another and it's different. So again, it's like maybe you watch one show, but it has an alternate ending. It's like a choose your own adventure, right? So the one is written, but it's not the only one that's written. Oh, bam, there it is. That's what I was missing. It just all locked into place. See, truth bumps chills, resonance. That's what I was missing. All these potential timelines are written. But if you get advanced knowledge of one, it doesn't mean you're destined for it. It means that you can align to it if you choose, or you can align to something else if you choose. It's a choose your own adventure, especially for someone like you who's a time hopper. Group 3, they're showing me the ribbit, frog jumping lily pad to lily pad. They're saying time. I heard time perspectives, potentials. Okay. So you're going to build something here. I don't know what this future will look like for you, but they're going to show you. So in my experience, Spirit will show me synchronicities to indicate a particular timeline, because synchronicities are chronosentience. It's an awareness of time moving through patterns of your reality, mirroring symbols, signs, and synchronicity, like the little omens and little side notes, little things that jump out of you. I didn't mean to say that. Jump out to you. And like sometimes they'll show me the most random synchronicities, and in the moment I'm like, I have no idea what this means, but I'm taking note of it. And then days, weeks, or even months, sometimes years later, that same synchronicity will show up in such a serendipitous, divine, timing ordered way that I'm like, oh, okay, this is what they were talking about. And it's kind of like a stamp that says I'm in the right place at the right time. And again, you get to kind of choose how you warp around, what tunnels you go through here in terms of like these warp potentials, let's say. Okay, so group 3, I think that's the message here, and I hope that you're able to track whatever kind of downloads, channeled information, new potentials that you're seeing being shown, being inspired with. It could show up as an idea, it could show up as a synchronicity, could show up as an inspiration, or all of the above, and using that wisely to your advantage in regard to the type of life that you would like to create, that you are creating, or that you have the potential to create. Okay, lots of love. I'm sending you, okay, hold on. They're saying one last message. One sec. There was a lot that came through there. Something about the letter M. But they said there's a method to the madness. So they said the word mediation as well. Manifesting. Now I'm just kind of thinking out loud. Manifesting. Meditate. Yeah, the letter M for some reason. M also up and down. Yeah, okay. M would be convex. W would be concave. Oh, right as I said that, I have a sheet of paper up here, and the only letter I can see is W. Okay. I'll let you guys think on that. This one was very cryptic, but Spirit will do that intentionally, because we're not meant to know all of what is to come, because we might misuse that or mishandle that information, or we don't know what to do with it. So it's like on a need to know basis. They'll give you what you need, just enough so that when the time comes, you know what to do with it. Okay. Lots of love. Thank you guys for being here. I hope this reading was helpful. Just take what resonates and leave the rest. If you feel called to any of the other groups, feel free to check those out as well, or any of my other readings. There's a ton here on the channel. If you guys are members, we're going to be doing a weekly forecast coming up as well. So this will be looking at the week ahead, which we haven't done in a while. Thank you to our should I start doing members of the weeks? But I wanted to shout out Danielle. Thank you so much for the reading topic of last week's reading. And if you want to become a member for additional ad-free content, we do an additional members only reading once a week. And then we do the members live stream for the Soul Family tier once a month, which is coming up next week on Tuesday. It's always the last Tuesday of the month at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Okay. Love you guys. We'll see you in the next reading. Bye.